Okay. It looks like we are live. I am trying to make sure. Looks like we are live. Yep, okay. Audio is coming through. I'll ping the Discord and wait a couple minutes to get started here. And I need to edit the title of this live stream as well. I did not realize that the go live button would immediately start a stream here, but it did. So here we are. There we go. Looks like there is one concurrent viewer right now, unless it is counting me as a concurrent viewer. And I do not think it's doing that. Actually, I'll be right back and then we will get started for real. Okay. I'm back. Gonna throw the link in a couple more places, and then we'll be good to go. All right. Let's begin. So the first thing I always do when I am creating a new environment is, well, I just open up an environment light mixer. And this is something that is in both Unreal Engine 4 and Unreal Engine 5, and there are no differences between either of these. So just make sure you do normal, or I prefer normal plus advanced on these settings, or not everything will be available to you. But nothing will change when you create everything with the environmental light mixer, but you just change a setting in the directional light and that will make everything update. And the reason I like this is because there's some default settings here that are different than the actual default settings when you create your directional light or your skylight or your atmosphere or your clouds all on their own. And it's just better defaults. The skylight still doesn't have real-time capture turned on, and I like to turn that on. So now that we have some basic lighting set up, I am going to go into my project settings, find my lumen settings, and for now I'm going to change it to global tracing. I'm running on a 1050 Ti, so I need all the performance I can get right now. Later on, I will switch it over to detail shading. I'll switch back and forth so that we can all see the environment better with a better visual fidelity, a higher visual fidelity. But while I'm just beginning and while I'm just putting stuff together, I'm going to, I just bumped into my microphone. Sorry about that. I'm not sure if that sound got filtered or not. I mean, filtered out or not. So, where was I? Oh yeah, so I'm going to create a post-process volume to give myself control over the over more global illumination and lumen settings. If I just type in part of global, it'll pull up the global illumination that's set to lumen. I will leave it like that, and for the final gather, I'll leave that at 1 for now. So I am, again, because I'm trying to make a super detailed, well, not fully nanite environment. The trees that I'll be putting in here will not be nanite supported. I'm going to be using placeholder trees in this first part, and in between streams, next week's stream, which will be the second and maybe the final part in this little pine forest environment stream series, we'll have I'll make some actual trees with nanite functioning on the trunks out of Quixel assets. Until that point, I'll just be using some placeholder pine tree assets. But all the other Megascans assets, the branches, the rocks, and everything that I'll be scattering, that will all be fully nanite. So now that we have our post-process here, I just need to make it infinite. And now let's create a landscape. And for reference, well, I already ruined it by naming it a pine forest, so I'll go through the joke anyway, but I was going to start the stream by dragging this on and saying, this is the environment we'll be creating today. No, bit too late for that. This is actually a super nice looking image that I found, and I thought it would be really fun environment to try to replicate with the river and the rocks and all of that going on through here. It'll give us plenty of nanite related things to work with and Megascans related things to work with, and it's simple enough that we won't have to use any third-party frame generation programs for this. so we can keep it all inside of Unreal Engine 5, which is nice. So I would not be opposed to doing a later live stream kind of series, or even just a normal series like this where we create an environment in a program like Gaia, height math in a program like Gaia, I mean, and then bring it in and make a full environment out of that. So for this, I'm just going to increase the resolution and don't need this to be super boost. This is honestly 7x7 probably going to be big enough. This is just a small sort of environment here. Though we do want to be able to see stuff off in the distance, and Nanite can do stuff to the horizon, so let's just pump this up to 31, and we can get less detailed the further out we go. I will create this landscape, and before I do anything else, I do not have a mannequin that I can drag in for scale reference in this project. I'll have to bring a mannequin, third person, do some basic moving around, or I think a first character would be better. So I'll put together one of those, perhaps later in this stream or in between this stream and the next stream. I want the main focus here to be on environment. So for the time being, I keep trying to move my mouse over here to the create window that's not here. I love it being in the tab now. I'm just not used to it. So I throw a cube down, and I can just change the scale. Cube at Unreal is exactly 1 meter all around, so I can set about this, and this is say 1.7, 0.5, 1.5. That will be roughly the size of a person. There. And act like the landscape is going to stay at that height. So going to bring the reference in. Alright, I'm thinking that if I respond here, Google will, or YouTube will automatically translate this. So okay. So this is the environment here. And so let's just say we want to sort of batch up our viewport with the environment. We're going to have a river running right through here. Some large, some really mountains here, and more of a flat, still definitely mountainous area next to it. So I'm going to go into the sculpting mode. I'm just going to grab my sculpt brush, and I'm going to bring it through. Oh, that's interesting. reset to movable. We're using lumen. Let's grab our environment light mixer again. And that's strange. There we go. That's movable. It's all movable. Okay, that very well could have been a small glitch. Early access and all. So we'll definitely take some further refinement. Just trying to get a idea of the shape here. Yeah. Rivers won't be flowing on a flat riverbed. That's not really how rivers work. So we're going to raise. We'll have to move our little guy, but we'll have to raise this up here, and then bring it down around. And this is a bit much here, so I'm going to grab a smoothing tool, move some of this out. A lot of the Mountainous stuff here is going to be done with Megascan assets. And stuff in the distance, I'm probably just flatten out for now at least. So super sharp decline, super sharp. So let's move this out some. That's a little better, still a bit sharp. Try to bring things up a bit. Move out. Want a slope like this. Yeah. That's nice. Now I can get the flatten tool. I'll bring the land out here. You know what? I think this is a big part of the environment creation process, and that's just realize things didn't go how you intended them to go, and you just get rid of all of it. And you start over. So yeah, that brush is too powerful. I think that's our too big, too powerful. I think big is fine. We can start big and work our way down, and that would be a better way to do it. This big, it's too powerful. So still a very powerful here. I think as long as I move my mouse faster, zoom out some, fine. I'm already liking this more. See, much easier to see where the river will be and where the river will. And I think this is enough here when it comes to a basic shape to get started with putting down some actual assets here. I don't want to put a lot of detail into the landscape. Where I'm going to be putting detail into the scene through Megascans assets. So that is where we'll go next. I have Quixel Burge pulled up here, and I should be signed in. It has it signs me out sometimes. I haven't figured out why. So if it does have me signed out, I'll just scoot it over and sign in on the other screen. 9 essentials. That will be essential. But I want to start by sort of defining the river. I'm going to click on mountain slope too. This is the mountainous area, and it's been a while. I looked in the collection. Okay. And maybe Nordic coastal cliffs here. It's a river flowing through a mountainous area. This might be where we end up. Valley as well. Wetland might have some interesting things as well. There's a river, so there will probably be lots of moss growing. Definitely, it's a damp area. There will be a lot of vegetation around the river. And I want to point something out to you all. I know that it's here in Nordic Coastal Cliffs, but in the built-in Unreal Engine 5 bridge, for some collections, there are tons of reference images of real photographs of some of these areas, and these are invaluable. Though it's a whole lot easier to see sort of where all this stuff is at. You can see the context of the assets here, where they're at in relation to the other assets. And you have the renders that people have made with them as well. I'm going to go back down to wetland. There's this mossy ground that I like. And yes, Quixel has signed me out here. Yeah, I like this mossy ground. Mossy creek stones. Here we go. So I don't want to focus too much on landscape material right now. There's some water materials, swamp water though. So probably better just to stick with the built-in water plugin. So a lot of this stuff here will work well close to the river, and a big part of the process here too is planning things out with your assets and materials beforehand. And I didn't want to do it all off stream. I wanted to really go through the whole process here with you all. I 2 concurrent viewers, and whoever watches the stream later on a different day once it's just up on the channel as a regular video. So we have river debris. Keep looking at these materials, and I'm looking for 3D assets here in these collections. I like the sharp cliffs here. And sandy rock, that could fit in. That looks like it could. Oh yeah, these. It's desert, so still sort of looks like it could fit in. For one of these, maybe not the pine forest environments. I'm starting it already, but I on a team that I'm working on to help them out with the video game. There's a geologist on that team, and maybe I can try to get him in on one of these streams. That would be super interesting and super educational for me and all of you guys as well. I wouldn't even say I have a basic knowledge of geology. I have a knowledge of what looks good and what looks bad, and I can look at things and say, oh, look, that looks nice, that looks sort of realistic, but I can look at rock formations and tell you if the erosion is realistic for the area. I mean, I kind of can broadly, like I can tell you what's obviously water erosion or what's more of a wind erosion, but I can't get any more detailed than that. So let's start with these Nordic coastal cliffs and some stuff from the quarry, the beach rocky ground. That's something we should definitely make use of, and I think we'll bring it in first. So I'm moving bridge over, and I have to sign into it. And once I do that, we'll start bringing in assets at the nanite resolution into Unreal Engine 5, and our shadows here are acting very strange. If I just back up and come back in, fine. It happened when it didn't autosave, so definitely still some kinks here or there, and Unreal Engine 5 early access. That's why if you're making something that you want to release, or if you're really new and just learning, definitely learn and do things in Unreal Engine 4. But most of what I'll be doing in this stream can be applied in Unreal Engine 4, although things like Lumen or Neon I won't be able to be turned on. This won't be a world partition environment, so yeah, most of this can be done in Unreal Engine 4 with it just might not look as good. So if you want to follow along, or if you want to copy and you're not super comfortable with Unreal or game engines, or willing to run into bugs as you go, I definitely recommend doing this in Unreal Engine 4. So I'm going to drag in these beach rocks, and it brought in a low polygon version. Well, it is beginning to download the nanite resolution here, but our low polygon version is plenty good enough to get started. And I can move my camera and this at the same time just by holding down Shift. So this environment, I ended up sculpting this a lot bigger than I thought I did, and that speaks to the importance of something like this that can give you a rough idea of the size of a character. If I pull up the reference here, a person, based on the size of the shrubbery and the trees, a person, if they're standing on this rock in the river, this is their feet. If their feet are on the rock, probably going to be about somewhere in here. So this environment is far too large. So the proper way to do this is, well, just to resculpt it smaller. If I was working on something that was for, well, for an actual game, that's what I'd do. But for a little environment that I'm just doing as a live stream, I don't want to take up time doing something like that. So I'm just going to do that. So let's say, is that how's that? Okay. Maybe it started at 50. I hit that arrow on accident. We'll have to find a good scale. Okay. That's definitely smaller. Let's not focus on that. That just takes us further out. Can I click on this cube here? Focus on it. And let's just move the landscape over to us now. Is this any smaller? Yes. Much better, actually. I'm not trying to copy the reference image exactly. It's a reference image. It's more inspiration than anything else. Yes, this is much better. Much better. So, we'll do. This will do. Perfect. Let's see if I can find the B track. Bring it over here. Yeah, the scale is so much better now. So I'm going to use the racks here to sort of define edge of the river here. To go over the bridge, yep, the Unite resolution here is about halfway downloaded. And I'm just gonna go off the grid with this. It's not gonna snap to increments of rotation or in the world. I want more control here. So I'm not going to perfectly follow the landscape here. It's more of a rough guideline, so I have something visually here to follow along. I can adjust it to the landscape later. And Control W to duplicate. I'm hitting E to pull up my little rotate. To switch to rotation, W to translation. That bit of an angle, maybe over some. Try to blend between these. Still a little obvious there. Yeah. Bit more like that. By locally spin this around. Still some seams here, but this is the kind of stuff you go back and fix later. Not the kind of stuff you want to try to fix right now. Because if it's like a seam that you can just throw another, or not really a seam, but if it's a weird area where things are joined together like these two things, and you could rotate them around and then rotate the other one and keep going, or you could just throw a rock over the weird area. So don't spend a bunch of time super early on worrying about all the details. Looks good from a distance, and it's probably good as just a first pass here. Oops. That one's selected, so I can duplicate, and it moves it to that one anyway. Okay. Don't want to do that. I want to just move on the XY local, not this right now at least. I'll go ahead and rotate this a bit because there is an actual gap there, not just a noticeable. I'm not going to worry too much about the edge here because this is going to be underwater. I'm sort of trying to make the shore of the river here. Before I go too much further, I want to reference the reference image. So it looks like there's a lot smaller rocks. That makes sense because you have these bigger rocks, and these are rocks that the river isn't just able to sweep away. But there's all the smaller rocks. I guess they get swept away by the river, so they're over and they're over here. So these rocks are like these rocks. So we'll need to get some bigger rocks and put them along the shore with these small rocks. And if we want to sort of try to copy the coloring of everything here, the colors of these rocks match up pretty well. So let's try to grab some big rocks from bridge and sort of build that together for this section. This little pieces can just be duplicated and moved around. So let's do that. I'll open up bridge and I'll bring it over here. Let's just full screen it while we look for rocks. Let's try to keep our reference photo. I'll put it over here. I should have re-downloaded PureRef. I don't have that installed right now. And I will go ahead and save this in case we run into a crash. First rule of working with a program that's in a weird shadow glitch. Okay, that again. First rule of working with a program that's in a early access like this is to save often because it will crash. I've actually ever run into a crash with Unreal Engine 5. So, but there's always the chance. So I don't want to lose all the progress and have to redo it in the stream. If I was making a video, of course, I could just, stop the video, re-record, do all that, but with the stream, it will be boring for me and boring for all of you if I have to end up redoing a lot of what I do here. Oh, well, look at that. Look at that. The nanite meshes got in. They're using nanite now. That's awesome. Go into triangle visualization. Look at the detail. I mean, come on. These rocks and anything else. This pebble, for goodness sake, it's the detail here truly is astounding. I don't think there's ever been pebbles this detailed before, and being rendered in real time in an instance. It's just the same. Sure, you can sort of see some of the triangles when you're this close. But who would ever be this close in a game to the pebbles? No, you'd be this close. And to me, that looks truly amazing. And my frames aren't doing super well. 1050 Ti, the graphics card shortage really does suck. I want to see how much of this is Lumen. I'm averaging 30 about Lumen. Oh, my engine scalability settings. Streaming here, and I have a old graphics card. Let's set that down to high. That seems to help. About medium. That turns off Lumen. But I can actually see some jitter in the rocks now. So let's let's put it on high. I want Lumen. Let's just turn Lumen down. Turn the quality down here. And why is our skylight not working? There we go. Okay. I really don't want this stream to be too bad. Let's just turn the screen percentage down here. YouTube compression considered, it probably won't even really make much of a difference on video right now, at least during the live stream. Maybe, I don't know. We'll turn that back up. But for now, if it can get us 40 to 50 frames per second, that's what we'll do. Okay. So not doing a good job. Not doing a good job. Okay. For a second there, I thought there was no audio and that this whole time you guys weren't even able to hear me. So, okay, you can hear me, that's good. So let's try to get back on topic here. We really went off there. I really went off there as I encountered those frame rate issues. So big gray rocks. Preferably round and smooth. Not really round or really smooth, but not really rough either. These are rocks that bad water run over them a lot. They're going to be fairly smooth. So I'm going to get out of the collection. I'm just going to rock. I have caps lock on. Must have bumped that on accident while using Shift. I'll just go to 3D assets and let's like some of these screenshots are new. Some of these assets, like I don't know, it looks like Lumen to me. Or maybe it's just an offline render that looks like Lumen because Lumen looks so good. Who knows? Here we go. Let's drag this in so it can start importing. Let's look for at least another 3 or 4 rocks. For rock formations. Maybe this will work. Lots of Nordic beach rocks. Pebbles. Snow covered rocks. Interestingly colored rocks. What is this called? Sodalite. Gemstone. Okay. I've never seen these gemstones. Quixel. Probably not new, I just probably never saw them before. One thing that I don't like about the Quixel bridge that's built into UE5 is I like being able to see in lots of assets having a little person sort of drawing outline of the asset scale reference. That's not here. I'm not sure if some assets just don't have it. If I've been unlucky enough to keep clicking on assets that don't have that, or if it's just not here in Unreal Engine 5's built-in bridge yet, at least. So I find that a bit strange. These are all rocks that we don't want. It's a small, so I'm guessing it's smaller than I thought it was to begin with. All these say small, and I'm not sure if it's small or just small. like what you'd consider to be a big rock, is sort of what I'm looking for. Um, this is a bit big, but something more like, yeah, that's small, definitely small. If I bring it down and compare it with this, pretty small, but yeah, I think it actually is a pretty good. Oh, this rock is smaller. Okay, okay, that's definitely smaller than I thought it would be, but good to have some variation. Okay. Trying to sort of group these together here. Yeah, that's small. I'm just deleting this formation. I'm not sure if I want to use it yet. I should have enabled runtime virtual texturing. Part of this. Don't want to wait for shaders to compile now. That should help with performance. These are 8K textures and they are gonna be killing my GPU. I really should have turned on runtime virtual texture. That's why my brain are so low right now. Dang, okay. I really forgot that. And it'll take a while for it to recompile. We'll have 3,000 shaders to recompile or something like that. I think I will use this. Yeah, this is for lichen and moss. That probably have gotten washed away. Be underwater too much. That side of the rock. So if we, or it's this side that's sort of in the water, facing the, all those little details, noticing things like that can really come together and make environment. It's definitely 8K textures here. So this area on the screen is already looking so great just because of these pebbles. My gosh, gonna be continuously amazed by Lumen and Nanite for a while. Let's pull out the reference image. I think this will be more of an actual rock here that's part of uh, a bigger rock formation. Happens to be next to the river. And these rocks that are scattered along the shore. I'm going to open up this material and environment, change it up a little bit. I like that. I think I might do the same thing with this other one, just to get that contrast between these pebbles and these rocks. One again, or maybe not. This one had more brown, and so I'm gonna. There, that's good. I'm liking that. We just more rocks here. Yep, these are low polygon. Yeah, I can tell now a bit closer. I'd love for Unreal Engine to have some sort of physics placement tool where you can just turn it on and place stuff in physics, and so you don't have to continuously move, rotate things around. Pretty good there. Might want to change the color of this rock. Change others. Yes, definitely. Let's start with the same color hex code. That's good. That's good. Stay and go from there, but I like that. I'm not going to be too particular. Not boring for me to spend way too long organizing these things. But I'm sure it's that's anyone watching. So leave it like that, and let's get 2 more rocks, and that'll be enough variety to rotate things around and keep things looking interesting. So 2 more rocks. That shouldn't be too hard. I stopped paying super close attention to color. I'm in all of these small rocks, so I'm gonna scroll back up here. I can just change the color tint here. If I scrolled too far up, let's get this one. Let's get these. If we place them right, we can hide that moss. This is bigger than I thought it would be. Maybe we should scale this down. Let's do that. Let's scale this down. Better. And I want the textures to get in so I can better see what I'm doing here. Same with this one. The textures haven't come in yet with either of these. This is all I was hoping for. Bigger rock here so we can scale this up. Really hoping these textures will come in. I want to wait for the textures to come in, but I don't want to wait for the textures to come in at the same time here. I'll just start placing these around, and if I have to adjust things once I can see the textures to get it to look better, I guess I'll do that. They're a little tall. I will try to. They're just tall. Yeah, these are too tall. I don't want to squeeze the textures too much, so let's not use them. Let's just take these 3 rocks and really scale them around. Maybe that's how the textures haven't come in. I accidentally closed out a bridge. If I open that back up, maybe textures will come in for this. Track. Got in. Where'd it go? Here it is. I want to use. And these 8K textures are killing me. Killing my This really work well. This and with this rock here. Maybe. And I think what I'll do is I will scale it down a lot. These. Just get rid of this one and bring it back in. If that will. Not the neatest way to do it. If it does it, it does it. So. I'll just work with these three. I'll just work with these. I put too much time into finding rocks, really. Here are rocks. Copy, duplicate that with Control W. Let's move it over. I have to rotate this one a lot, like that. Bring it up for scale it down over some. This one. Let's rotate it this way. Change the scale. Way too easy. Liking it close. That. This one. Maybe we do need more rock. Maybe we do need more. This one. Float in. Right. Rotate. Greenish. Hue. Part of it is. That's better. That's better. Okay. Now let's grab this rock. Okay, let's just change to global position up and out, down, over, turn it around. Let's up. Here we go. Now we're starting to get really start speeding up now. I'm finally starting to get into the. Now let's just grab this whole and duplicate, drag it over here, rotate it, move it up, bring it over, go into local rotation, rotate it some more. Okay, rotate it this way. Gap over here. Duplicate these. Move them. This one. This one. Facing this way. Here. I'll just let them clip through each other for now. Get that one. This rock will be super easy. Rocks here. I haven't used this side of the something to fill up this spot, so let's grab this. Alright, here. Scale the whole thing. And this is a super sharp transition. We'll work on smoothing out that transition once we have more rocks. So let's now grab all of these. Select all of these. Control W, E to rotate. Going into determine local. 180 degrees here. I'm gonna scoot over like this. Break up. Back into. I'll just set up. Curious. Just now we have some more assets here. Let's grab nanite. I mean lumen. Let's just turn it off. I just want to come here. That's screen space. That's nothing. This is nothing. Fairly real because of nanite. Then you turn on lumen. Oh, that's fairly real because of nanite. But then you turn that on and it just really does pull everything. Now we need to fill in the gap here that needs. We haven't used rock much. Right here. That's okay. Bring it around this way. Scale. Copy this gap here. Rotate it around. And let's just actually try to blend this in a little bit. And if we, yeah, let's do that. I'm just gonna grab some of these racks. Let's go with the smaller ones. Let's duplicate them. Move them back. This one, we'll drop it down. Closer. Rotate it a bit. Rotate. 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 More. Scale it up. That's a little actually. Put down. Really just trying to ease the transition. These racks to pebbles. That's already a lot better. Let's keep going with it. Take this one, date it, put it over. It takes patience. It really does take patience. That's like this area right here already, I think, a whole lot better than this area here. Only thing bothering me, this rock out of the pebbles far too much. I feel like too easy to tell these rocks. That let's do this. Over. Hit it brown. Grab these. Duplicate. Rotate the whole thing. Where did they go? That's pretty. And almost like give a snowball, that metaphor. Have your snowball, you roll it down a hill, it needs to get bigger and exponentially. That's sort of what this is here. When you have nothing placed down, it goes slow. Then you can start duplicating, rotating things around, and things get going a whole lot faster. We've just doubled the amount of rocks we had transitioning to this shore. I still don't think there's enough. Excuse me, I still think it's a little too sharp in here. So let's add some more. Just add more rocks until the transition doesn't feel sudden. I think maybe we should more dense then and not try to transition in levels yet. I'm liking that more. Duplicate. Oh, right here. Very easy to copy the one next to it. Harder to I have a bunch of little rocks that are at the same size. That's not realistic. There's more variation. Let's some of that in. Let's a bigger rock and set it down here. Let's grab a different rock. This one. Move it over. Rotate it around. Increase the scale. Refer back to our reference. Okay, okay. I see. Let's grab this. Copy. Up. Over here. Scale this one up. A lot. 8K texture. Like this is still sudden. Maybe it's the material. Maybe if we maybe it's even the color here. Could change the colors back, but I'm liking the gray, so let's try to fit the pebbles in. That can undo that. That was too much blue. Try to darken them. Better, I think. Ah, that rock right there. See if we can get away with rotating this one. I think we can actually. Very different. Maybe they're not the same rock. That's why. Let's do some non-uniform scaling. Not too much. Some. Rocks back in. I'm going to duplicate these. don't match up. Yeah, I'm starting to like this. So, and this is like a pine forest. I spent so much time on the river, but it really is going to be the centerpiece of this. Um, it really is going to be the centerpiece of this. So let's turn the screen percent up. $8K textures are really hurting me. That is looking nice. Oh, I put it up to 200. No wonder. Okay, that makes it better. 100 at least doesn't help at all. Interesting is that I found something like this happens. I can close out of Unreal Engine usually, go back into it, and I have more frames. I think I might do that now. I'm gonna save. It's just a byproduct of it being in early access. I'm gonna save everything. I'm going to close out of it. Navigate back over to it. Okay. And we have a weird landscape issue. The shadows again. So now, see, are the frames any higher? Yes, they are. So it could be a memory leak issue, bug. Maybe they're not. I don't know. It's the 8K textures. I gotta get virtual texturing turned on or 2K textures here or something. I'll do that off stream next time. We're not trying to play, we're just editing. The low frames aren't really hurting us a lot here. But I'm running 8K textures on a GPU with 4 gigabytes of video memory. Good idea. Really not. Just a matter of arranging things until it looks good, really. Most things with environment creation and game dev. Moving things around and getting things to look good. Of course, I mean level design and gameplay and how it feels to play through. That's all a big aspect of it. But when you're just trying to make a visual environment like this, moving things around and getting it to look good. I'm going to copy everything. All of the rocks. Hopefully all of them. Duplicate it. Rotate it. Move it again. Yeah. What's duplicating copy? No. I go back and duplicate. Bring it over. Let's rotate. Let's rotate it all the way. All the way around. Not upside down. I didn't. Let's not do that. Got these rocks here. Bring them over here. Rotate. Rotate some. This rock. Very noticeable. Let's bring rock over instead. Rock over. Little group. Grab it. Yes. I made it. 180. There's going to be vegetation probably growing out of the pebbles too, but we'll come back and do that later. I just want to focus on this side of the shore right now. I really want to really soon here go a little further in environment. Let's do this one full size, right? Help visually. Add some right in there. Guess not. Guess not. So rock. Right over here. Rock. Rock. to chuck stuff from multiple angles. Some angles looks like these rocks are in others. Realize they're floating above ground. Uh, I'm gonna move on from the shoreline now. I'm not completely happy with it. I like the way this looks. Don't really like how these rocks are scattered about. It doesn't feel real. It doesn't feel. Maybe if I one last thing I'll do. Go to cheat away. That's game dev. Um, don't cheat your way through everything, but if you duplicate something, duplicate a bunch of things, rotate them all around like this. Boom, straight back over. Start the exact same of objects placed. People don't notice. Now, if it's not something you really stop to really look at, some stuff that doesn't fit, and you can do stuff this way. It's just better to saves lots of time. However, to look better, I think it's just a lack of density. But I want to come back to this area later. Gone. So I'm going to bring in, go to content, Quixel bridge. I want to bring in, there's a large cliff. I think it's yes, it's this one. As I said, large cliff. My FPS, frame per second. There, what's going on? They're low, but they should. Ah, it's not using nanite right now. That definitely explains it. Let's open the static mesh. Let's enable nanite. Apply the changes. In unlit mode for now. Throw this on the other side. Open our material. Try to get it to match in unlit the sort of tone of everything else. First, we'd have to go back and do the same thing we did here over here. But this is too blue. I'm seeing now that I'm on Unlit is really great when you're changing colors around like this, when you're tinting things like this. It's great to consult with the unlit view mode. Make sure that you're not just to get rid of lighting altogether, so that you can just focus on color, how things work together color wise. That's looking better. There's more flip assets here. There's this I want to use. This that I want to use. Then I'll have to change the colors to really better match up. So I want to make sure that these are both using nanite. Either of them are. Open this up. Set it to use nanite. Open this up. Set it to use nanite. And one thing I've really noticed over my using Unreal is that it says it's auto-saving out-of-date packages. Still, you know, crash and it doesn't always get the stuff that it auto-saved. Oh. Oh, well, look at that. These low polygon rocks are... What's going on here? I don't know. I'll have to try to fix that out of the stream. If I go nanite visualization here, quickly, let's go into the overview. Triangles. Lots of the rocks are using nanite. Some of them aren't. That's strange. Back in unlit mode. Take this. I just want to use it to break this up a bit. Like this is a bit steep to have a river running through here. Let's rotate it. Now this is a little high. Rotate it. Move it down. Down. That I feel a little bit better about that. Go back into lit mode. A lot of the messy geometry here will be hidden. build on top of that some. I won't use that one right now. So let's pull up our reference image. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. We are going to duplicate this, bring it up over here, and let's scale this up some. Rotate it. We are going to use it. Start building a little area here. Outline. A little area here. All the way around. And you can look online for photo references. That's something to talk about for environments, but nothing will beat actual real life experience. If you want to build a riverside environment, go to a river and walk along the side of the river. It's when you're following reference images, you're trying to take 2D and convert that into 3D. And take pictures when you go on those sorts of walks. But when you're pulling from, when you go experience it, you're now transferring 3D to 3D, not 2D. So much gets lost in that conversion. Something real to a picture. And you can really learn so much just by going out and observing. I continue to use the rock, and if I use it too much, I'll find another one and place some. I'm going to build up to separate out each area from the rest of the environment. I want to completely separate it. I don't want it like completely separated, but with these rocks, if you have a player character, I don't want the player character to fall over. More of just this one spot on the beach separated out. So easy to see are the exact same. Let's pull a picture, rotate it around. For a bit. A little less noticeable. Still there. I'll have to find a different rock, but now works. It works. Both of these together. Now that I'm seeing him come to these rocks, I need to fit better together. Unlit, they fit pretty well, but I feel like looking at the lit, it needs a tiny bit darker. Like that. Now it'd usually be the point where I'd get a landscape material and start setting that up, but that will be a topic for the next stream here. I start shaping landscape for what I want it to be. Lower these down into the ground. So. Like that. Now, I'm going to end the stream here pretty soon. I didn't get quite as much done as I wanted to done with it. But already been going for an hour and 45 minutes. Just planning on this hour and a half long. So yeah, let's try to get some trees in here. I'm This is Unreal Engine 5, and the free marketplace pack with these was for Unreal Engine 4. I'm going to have to just copy the file from my vault cache. And bring it in content folder of my project. Ooh, there, Unreal Engine 4, so this is not going to work. Okay, yeah, I wasn't thinking. This is not the right way. Open up that project, duplicate that project, convert it to Unreal Engine, and then move the trees over. So, for now, I think I will call it a day with this stream. And I want to figure out what the best time to stream is next Wednesday. I'm going to be doing Wednesday streams. So for any of you who watch the stream, or any of you future people who will find the stream and somehow, for some reason, watch it to this point when I'm just fun, I'm might not been the most entertaining thing to watch. It'll get more exciting as we progress here. Tell me what time, if you enjoy it, tell me what times you guys are all able to watch the stream, and I'll really try to figure out a good time that works for a lot of people here. But for now, I will leave it that. I will, from this angle, it actually looks pretty good. You don't realize that there's nothing over here. But I will leave it at that. Oh. Yes, I will explain some of the new animation features in Unreal Engine 5. I'm actually planning a video series, and that's going to be just completely on making a locomotion system with building a distance matching locomotion system inside of Unreal Engine 5, making use of Unreal Engine 5's new animation features. I just have to familiarize myself with them and learn what's new in Unreal Engine 5 and how to use it all myself before I get started. But in the coming weeks, I will be starting a next gen locomotion system full on tutorial series. And hopefully that answers your question. If anyone else has questions, I'm happy to answer them before I end the stream here. Okay, sorry, I totally for the advanced locomotion system, uh, for the advanced locomotion, maybe there's potential there to look into like an upgraded ALS for Unreal Engine 5 and how to upgrade ALS to make use of Unreal Engine 5. Though I think that yeah, there's potential there. I'm going to focus on building a locomotion system from scratch in Unreal Engine 5, but that's definitely something worth exploring. So if you want to join the Discord server, and I will throw the link into the into that we can into the YouTube live stream chat. We can discuss the potential with Unreal Engine 5 and ALS more inside the Outcast Dev School community Discord channel. All right, I will end out the stream here. If you have questions, or if you want to talk about the more of the animation stuff, I'll be happy to talk about it. Just hop in the Discord server, and I keep calling it a Discord channel. I know it's a Discord server. I keep don't know why I keep calling it a channel. But just hop in there and we can talk about that, and I'd be happy to talk about it with you. So yeah, gonna go ahead and end out the stream here. Thank you, everyone who's watching, for sticking with me and watching the stream.